Hey everybody, it's Molly, and I am back today to do the foil video that I've been promising for a few weeks now. Life happened and I just didn't get to it, but now we're here and we're doing it. I'm going to share with you two different ways that I know to foil, and the latter being the better way, I think. The first way will be with embossing powder and a heat gun, and then the other is with using a laser printer. Both of these methods, though, will be using the laminator to the left of the screen. I don't have a mink machine, a Heidi Swap mink machine. They're the popular foiling machine that it's closer to $200. So I actually tried to do this with a cheaper option, which is this laminator that was about $30 on Amazon. You'll see some of my supplies. The foil at the top is Heidi Swap mink brand, and then there's some other tools that I have right on the mat there for the embossing section. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first method that I'm going to show you is the embossing method. And I'm going to use a craft piece of paper. And the first thing you need to do is take this, it's called an EK powder tool. EK is the brand. And this powder you'll put on your surface first, and it acts as a kind of protectant of the Versamark the watermark stamp pad, which is a sticky stamp pad, or emboss it pens that are also the sticky surface for embossing powder to adhere to. And this first tool that I'm using is just going to make it so your embossing powder only sticks to those sticky surfaces that you want it to. You could also use a dryer sheet if you don't have this powder tool that I'm using right now. It would work similarly. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the products here really quickly. I've got embossed pens on the left and the embossing powder. They're both by Ranger. All of those products are by Ranger. And then this also is the Versamark brand watermark stamp pad, and this is also a sticky surface that you would use for stamps to place down and emboss. And what I'm going to do is write out a phrase and then try to foil this for you. So with these pens, these embossed pens, I think I'll use the black one. The white pen that you see me holding actually prints out clear, and the black actually puts down a black, like a marker ink. So I'm going to write you and me always, and the ampersand I'm using is an actual stamp. So that with that, I'll be using that Versamark stamp pad. Okay, so now I'm going to take my Ranger embossing powder in clear, and you could use any color, but I just had the clear on hand. And you will open up the container and pour as much or as little as you want. You're just going to need to make sure that you cover your entire sticky surface, and you can see the granules of the powder and if you've covered it enough. I go heavy on the powder because I'm just going to put all the excess back into the jar anyway. So you don't really need to let it sit for any amount of time. It's going to adhere right away. And then I take another piece of paper and just filter the excess off onto it. Shake off your original work surface and check to see that the powder really adhered to the words. And just so you know, you will see some of that powder from that first tool you used, but you can always wipe that off at the end. So now I'm going to get out my heat gun and heat set the embossing powder. The heat gun that I use is a Milwaukee brand, and it gets very hot. So this is craft paper. It's going to warp a little bit because it's so thin, but I like to keep the heat gun turned on and heat up for, I don't know, maybe about 10 seconds before I apply it to the actual powder to get it to set. It minimizes the amount of warping. So now I'm picking up some foil scraps that I had on the side that were from other projects, and that mint green is not going to completely fit over my design. So now I'm trying out this piece of bronze that I had, and that one's going to work. So you place your foil so that the color or the shiny side is up. And then I'm just going to take a piece of printer paper and put it over top of the the craft paper and the foil so that it will hold the foil in place as I feed it through the laminating machine. Okay, and now I actually fed that through twice, so I would recommend doing that when you're doing this embossing method. And now we'll see the reveal as I pull off the bronze, the fun part. And you're going to see why I put this as my second tier method. It's a good one to have if you, number one, don't have access to a laser printer, or you like to be able to quickly do something hand-drawn and then foil it. But you can kind of see that the foil didn't adhere completely to all of the pen. You can see some of the black striations in it. So it's an okay method. I like that you can use embossing powder a heat set embossing powder to make foil products, but this next one that we're going to talk about is absolutely more foolproof. All right, so into foil technique number 2, using a laser printer, and this is my favorite way. So here I'm showing you an example of an old design that I had completed last year for a custom order. And I wanted to use this as an example because it was already digitized, it was already in my computer as a PDF. So I sent it off to a local printer to be printed on their laser printer, making sure that you specify laser printer because that's the kind that uses toner. Toner is what makes this foiling work. So no inkjet, laser only. And I wanted to show you this because I had this printed about 2 to 3 months ago, and it's been sitting on my desk ever since. So with that being said, you don't need to rush to have a print come out of the laser printer and right into the foiling machine. Okay, so I'm taking the Heidi Swap Mink foil again in pink, and I'm just cutting it down so it will fit over my design only. You can try to conserve foil that way. And then I'm just going to, actually without a carrier sheet or piece of printer paper, just stick this straight through the laminator so it has good direct heat right over top of it. All right, so now that's the fun part, the reveal. So I'm going to peel off the pink foil and you'll be able to see how it adhered to the design below. Okay, so this last thing I'm going to show you is a new design that I just created today. I am making thank you cards for my daughter's second birthday that passed in September. So I am showing you here the background of creating this design really quick. I just took a brush pen and I was doodling out some different ways to write thank you. I used a stamp set as well by Hero Arts for those graphical images. And after I settled on the thank you that I liked, I digitized it. I scanned it into my computer. I digitized it with Photoshop and cleaned it up so that it was completely crisp black and white with no gray hues in it at all. And I laid it out so that it was going to fit on a 5x5 square card. So here I sped this up a little bit and you can see I'm just trimming this down, but I wanted to show you that I laid this out on a piece of paper, a letter-sized piece of paper, so that there would be an inch that I trimmed off and the extended line of the T would hit on the one edge, and then the extended line from coming off the U is going to hit on the other side of the 5-inch card. So after I've trimmed that down, and this piece of paper is now a 5-inch by 10-inch long piece, I'm going to take my scoring board, which is Martha Stewart, and you can pick that up at any local Michael's, and then take the scoring tool and rotate this so it's hitting at the 0 and the 10 mark, and score it at 5 inches so that this will be a 5x5 inch card and a top fold. Okay, so here's the completed card, and I'm just going to flatten it back out again and pick some foil to put over top of the design. And I think I'm going to go with gold for this one since I know that's something that everybody likes. And you'll do the same thing you did from the first two examples. You'll cut out just enough foil that you need to cover the design, and you'll lay it down so that the gold foil side is up. And then with this third method, or this third example, I also did not use a carrier sheet or a piece of printer paper, but feel free to do that. It doesn't, for me, I haven't seen that it foils any better by using it, but in some cases it will help keep your foil on top of your design and not move around too much. Okay, so the big reveal, pulling it off, the best part, and it looks great. So this method with the laser printer, I think, is just so much better than using embossing powder. So if you have the opportunity to try this out, I would recommend it. Okay, so that's the video for today, guys. I hope that that was helpful. I hope that you can now try to foil at home, whether you are using embossing for that first technique or you're using a laser printer like the second. And I would love it if you would subscribe to the YouTube channel, or you can also find me on Instagram. The handle is shown right there at Poppy and Mint Design, and share it with your friends if you think that they would love to foil everything. They really should, because it's so much fun. Thanks for watching and have a great day.